Welcome to the Agentic AI podcast. If you are an enterprise decision maker, you know that automation is, well, it's no longer just about simple scripts or glorified forms.
Not at all.
The future of intelligent automation is truly agentic.
Yeah.
We're talking about systems that don't just follow instructions, but actually perceive, reason, decide, and act on their own to achieve pretty complex business outcomes.
That's the key distinction. And frankly, it's the gap a lot of organizations really struggle to cross. They might see a chatbot and think, okay, we have an AI agent.
Right, check that box.
But a true enterprise AI agent is a secure digital worker that's capable of autonomous behavior. So our mission today is to quickly map out the entire 5-stage maturity curve.
From the simplest reaction all the way to a self-improving strategic co-pilot.
Exactly. Giving you the strategic understanding you need to deploy these agents at scale.
Okay, let's unpack this journey. Before we get into the 5 levels of intelligence, we need a baseline. What actually defines a robust, a mature enterprise agent?
We've identified 7 foundational traits that kind of serve as our checklist for complexity.
Okay.
Think of these as the ingredients you need for real enterprise-grade automation. The first 4 define its core intelligence. You have autonomy operating without constant human hand-holding.
Right.
Reactivity, so perceiving and responding to immediate changes. Proactivity, which is taking the initiative toward a goal. And then adaptability, the ability to learn and improve over time.
And the next 3, I'm guessing, are what connect that intelligence to the messy reality of a big business environment.
Precisely. You need social ability, and that means securely collaborating with humans and other agents. You also need persistent identity, which is just maintaining context and memory across sessions. Super important for long-running processes.
And finally, the big one.
Tool use. Its ability to interact directly with your internal APIs, your databases, all those clunky legacy enterprise systems. The more of those 7 traits an agent has, the higher its value.
Got it. So let's start at the very bottom, level 1. Simple reflex agents. This is automation in its absolute purest form. It's effective, but brutally simple.
I like your phrase for it.
The ultimate if this, then that machine.
That's pretty accurate because the core mechanism is rigid. A specific condition always leads to an immediate predefined action. They're fast, they're reliable, but critically, they have 0 memory.
No context whatsoever.
None. They only operate on what they see right now.
So give us that classic example we see everywhere in enterprise IT.
The basic help desk agent is the perfect level 1 system. If it sees a ticket with the exact trigger phrase, I forgot my password, bang, it instantly fires the password reset link.
Super fast. Solves that one narrow task.
Immediately.
But if they're so quick and reliable, why can't a huge company just deploy, thousands of these level 1 agents to handle every little issue? Why bother with more complexity?
Because the operational cost of that context blindness, it just becomes staggering over time. A level 1 agent creates noise. Well, if the user writes, I think John forgot his password, the agent will still reset the password for the person who wrote the email, not John.
Oh, right.
Or if the user submits the same ticket 3 times in 5 minutes out of frustration, the agent sends 3 password reset links. You save time on one task, but you flood the system and you confuse the user. It just can't handle what we call hidden state.
And that leads us right into level 2, the model-based reflex agents, which solve that exact problem of context.
Yes, this is the first real strategic leap. These agents solve the problem of partial observability, the agent only seeing part of the world. They maintain an internal model to track that hidden state.
So it's mechanism changes. It's not just see this, do that.
Right. It's current perception plus my internal state leads to an action.
So if level 1 is pure impulse, level 2 finally has a short-term memory.
Exactly. Imagine that service desk agent watching your Jira or your ServiceNow queue. A user posts, still waiting for an update.
A level 1 agent would just re-escalate.
Blindly, causing ticket churn. But the level 2 model-based agent checks its internal state and thinks, wait, I escalated this to L2 support 4 hours ago, and I'm waiting for their response.
So instead of making more noise,
it posts a proactive update. I've pinged the L2 team again and added high priority to your ticket.
That's a huge qualitative difference. That tiny bit of state memory, a persistent identity, one of our 7 traits, it dramatically reduces noise and stops duplicate work across the whole organization.
We're moving from just reaction to something that feels, a little more intelligent.
Okay, so once we solve for context, the next big strategic move is solving for intention. And that's the shift we see at level 3 with goal-based agents. This is where it gets really interesting, where the agent starts to proactively plan its moves.
Yes, we're now introducing search and planning into the equation. Level 3 systems move beyond just responding to what's happening now. They actually evaluate which sequence of actions will move them closest to a defined goal.
So it's looking ahead.
It looks at its current state, it looks at the target goal state, generates a few possible action sequences, and then it picks the most effective path.
This really sounds like orchestration. Can you give us a detailed example of a multi-system workflow that only a goal-based agent could handle?
Employee onboarding is the perfect showcase for this. The agent is given one single goal. New employee must be fully provisioned and productive by day 5.
Okay.
So when HR initiates that new hire record, the agent proactively orchestrates multiple silos at the same time. It's interacting with ServiceNow to provision the laptop. It's hitting Okta to create access accounts.
Syncing with Salesforce for permissions.
Placing the swag order, all of it.
That cross-silo action is exactly where human processes used to just fall apart. HR forgets to tell IT, or IT forgets to tell ops, and the whole thing just stalls.
Then, critically, this agent manages exceptions. If the agent detects the laptop shipment is delayed, a classic failure point, it doesn't just sit and wait for a human to notice on day 3. It immediately executes a compensating action, like automatically booking a loaner device and updating the new hire with a temporary solution.
This is where enterprises start seeing massive ROI. The agent is managing complexity, not just resetting a single field in a database.
Exactly.
That level 3 complexity, the planning and orchestration, is essential. But, just maximizing a single goal like speed or completion, that's often not enough in a mature business. Business ops require trade-offs.
Yeah, always do.
And that moves us to level 4. Utility-based agents. What's the core difference here?
Level 3 agents want to achieve the goal. Level 4 agents want to achieve the goal in the best possible way, where best is defined by business priorities. They assign a numerical utility score to every possible future state, and then pick the action that maximizes that expected utility.
So it's about nuance.
It's all about nuance. The agent recognizes that sometimes achieving the goal faster is actually less valuable than achieving it with higher customer satisfaction, even if it costs a bit more.
That moves us into the world of true business alignment. How does that calculation actually work in a real-world scenario, like a customer support escalation?
Let's stick with that example. A level 3 agent would simply pick the fastest path to resolution. A level 4 utility agent, on the other hand, it has to choose between 3 valid options.
Okay, what are they?
It could assign to the next available L2 engineer, which is the fastest, or it could assign to the engineer who successfully solved this customer's previous problems, which is probably the highest CS or quality choice.
Or the cheapest option.
Or keep the ticket in L1 support and just arm them with new knowledge articles, which is the cheapest.
So it's not just managing the process, it's managing competing business values in real time.
That's it, exactly. The agent is calculating a weighted utility score that's defined by governance. Management might set the weights, say 80% CSE plus 15% speed plus 5% cost.
And it routes the ticket based on that math.
And what's really sophisticated, what's truly required for level 4 maturity, is the ability to temporarily shift those weights. If it's month-end close, for example, the agent might automatically shift the weighting to prioritize speed, maybe 95% speed, 5% cost, just to clear the backlog. It overrides the usual CSAT priority.
That governance layer seems absolutely critical. I mean, who defines those utility weightings, and how does the agent get the real-time data to even calculate those paths? That sounds like a huge governance and data integration challenge.
It is entirely a governance challenge, which is why level 4 requires very careful business alignment. The weights are defined by domain experts, not IT, and they're dynamic, often pulled from internal BI dashboards like your current revenue targets or backlog size.
So it's constantly pulling in business context.
The agent relies heavily on robust tool use to integrate those real-time data feeds into its decision engine before it ever executes an action. It's the moment automation truly becomes strategic.
Which brings us to the pinnacle, level 5, learning agents. These systems are the Well, the real game changer, because they don't just execute goals. They improve their own policies, their rules, their utility calculations over time. They check off every single item on our 7-trait checklist, especially adaptability.
Right. For an agent to be truly level 5, it can't be passive. It needs 4 mandatory, tightly integrated components to achieve that self-improvement.
What are they?
First, you have the performance element, which is the part that takes actions based on the existing rules. Then you have the critic, which observes and evaluates how successful those actions were in the real world.
Okay, so it's judging its own work.
It is. Then there's the learning element, which modifies the agent's behavior based on the critic's feedback. And finally, my favorite part, the problem generator.
The problem generator.
Yeah.
That's the component that makes this truly intelligent, isn't it? It suggests actions the agent hasn't even tried yet.
Yeah.
It's not just fixing failures. It's proactively looking for ways to optimize.
That's the exploratory edge. The critic assesses outcomes that are often, not black and white, like the trade-off between cost savings and user disruption. Let's look at our cloud cost governance example. It's a perfect level 5 use case.
Okay, so start simple. A level 1 cost agent would just blindly cancel idle resources.
Exactly. The level 5 SRE agent starts with a very blunt rule. Cancel any idle dev virtual machine after 2 hours. The critic element then observes the savings, let's say it's 18% a month, but it also observes the negative feedback.
The complaints.
The data science teams are complaining because their long-running experiments are getting killed mid-process.
So the critic sends mixed signals. High savings, but low satisfaction.
The learning element takes that mixed signal and it modifies the rule. It evolves it to be smarter. Idle for more than 2 hours, ND not tagged as experiment,
Yeah.
and CPU usage is less than 5%, then you terminate.
So the agent moves from being a blunt instrument to a nuanced policy enforcer.
And what's the ultimate payoff? Where does the problem generator step in? The agent observes that certain machine learning workloads predictably spin up every night at 11 p.m. and run for exactly 8 hours. The problem generator suggests an exploratory action. What if we bought a reservation for this repeatable load? The critic assesses the potential financial benefit versus the commitment risk. The learning element then evolves the agent's behavior one step further. It now suggests reservation purchases and policy adjustments directly to the finance team, all through an audited interface.
That evolution, from a simple rule to a nuanced policy to an intelligent financial co-pilot, that happens entirely through continuous self-learning, all within the secure enterprise environment, without anyone rewriting a single line of code. That ability to adapt is revolutionary.
It is.
So this brings us to this so what? We've mapped the 5 levels. But for the listener who's prepping for a big strategic meeting, why is this race to level 4 and level 5 so essential right now? Why can't they just stick with their level 2 systems?
Because 3 critical things are colliding. First, the complexity of business processes is just no longer manageable with hard-coding scripts. It's too much. Second, customer and employee expectations for personalized, seamless speed. They demand the kind of goal and utility-based orchestration that only level 3 and 4 can provide.
And the third piece, which we cannot stress enough, is the absolute requirement for security and compliance.
Absolutely. Enterprises are under immense pressure to ensure that sensitive data, financial, healthcare, proprietary IP never leaves the perimeter. These higher-level agents must be running securely within your private infrastructure, complete with single sign-on, full data control, and detailed audit trails.
You can't just send mission-critical data to a public cloud LLM for that kind of complex reasoning.
You can, and practically speaking, the internal demand for automation is just outpacing IT's ability to deliver. You need the systems to start filling that gap themselves.
And that's where the ROI really becomes tangible. By moving up to levels 3, 4, and 5, enterprises are seeing capabilities like auto triage and resolution of up to 70% of help desk tickets, full end-to-end onboarding, and continuous autonomous cloud cost optimization.
And crucially, the technology enables non-technical domain experts, people in HR, finance, operations, to create and manage these digital workers themselves. That flexibility and operational security is the real strategic differentiator today.
This journey has been a deep dive, moving from instant non-contextual responses at level 1 all the way to strategic systems at level 5 that can plan, weigh complex trade-offs, and continuously refine their own operating logic.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, here's an important question to think about. The ultimate winner in the enterprise automation race, it won't be the company that deploys one massive, highly complex, general-purpose agent. That model is just too brittle. It's too slow.
So if it's not the one super agent, what is it?
It belongs to those who embrace a distributed architecture. It's the companies that can deploy hundreds of smaller, specialized, domain-focused agents.
Okay.
These agents start simple, maybe at level 2, and are just continuously learning and improving their policies and utilities, all while operating securely, compliantly, and at enterprise scale within the existing infrastructure. That vision of a vast, adaptive digital workforce is really what level 5 unlocks.
So what does this all mean? It means the agentic future is here today, and the maturity curve we've mapped is your strategic guide. You can and you should start navigating this curve now, moving from simple reflex rules all the way to autonomous self-improving intelligence.